make a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any awards tonight?
No, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. We're going to start the public hearing, and let me explain this real quickly so you understand kind of what's going on. But we'll have a presentation on what it's all about, and then we will have time for, and then we allow 10 minutes for anyone who wants to speak for that, and also 10 minutes for, and that's, so if there's like 4 or 5 people who want to speak for the same item, try to, look after each other's time, if you would. So, anyway. Okay. The first one is the public hearing on ordinance 750.
Hey, Mayor and Council, I want to introduce you to Danny Nash. She's our new city planner, and she worked on this case report, so I'm going to ask her to do the presentation for you guys tonight. With that said, here's Danny Nash.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I appreciate your attention this evening. I have for your consideration a variance request for a single parcel with 2 address points, 5572 and 5578 Mulberry Street. And I just have a quick map, kind of orient us on where we are in Mulberry, just south of the intersection with Phil Necro Boulevard. And you can see it is outlined in red. And the applicant originally applied for a minor subdivision of the property. It contains, as I mentioned, 2 address points under 1 tax map parcel number. Upon review of the proposed minor subdivision plat, nonconformities outside of the control of the applicant related to lot width and side setbacks were discovered. The lot is zoned R2, which requires a minimum lot width of 75 feet and minimum side setbacks of 15 feet. The proposed property line creates 2 lots of 72 feet wide or 72 feet in width, with an existing structure on tract 2 encroaching into the side setback by 5 feet. The requested variances tonight attempt to reconcile both lots as closely as possible to the code requirements for R2. And this is a little bit closer of a location map. You can see the subject property, and you can clearly see we have 2 structures and 2 address points, but again, it's a single parcel. To the west, we have Mulberry Summit Subdivision, and to the southeast, we have Mulberry Cottages and a few other single parcels. The zoning in this area, like I mentioned, the parcel is zoned R2. The subdivision to the west, Mulberry Summit, is zoned R3, which is a legacy zoning, and the surrounding parcels and Mulberry Cottages are also zoned R2. And we have an image of the proposed minor subdivision plat that was turned in by the applicant. The line in red down the middle is the proposed subdivision line, and they tried to get it as close as possible to the center. We have some existing structures and an existing fence. The proposed line creates 2 identical, or almost identical in width of about 72 feet as opposed to 75, which is the minimum. And the structure on lot 2 is encroaching by 5 feet into the 15-foot setback by that proposed line. The applicant's hardships, the shape of the lot with the existing structures create practical difficulties in meeting the minimum code requirements for R2. And the current property owner would be unable to subdivide the parcel and give distinct tax map numbers for the existing address points without the approved variances. And the requested variances seek to harmonize the proposed lots as closely as possible to the current zoning. So staff recommends approval of the variances for 5572 and 5578 Mulberry Street as requested. Any future proposed exterior alterations would obviously be subject to all zoning and design code requirements. Okay. Any questions?
It looks like even drawing a line down the middle of the property, the both lots will still be over 15,000 square feet.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna leave the subdivision up for the applicant for them to speak.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Okay, so now we're going to start the 10 minutes. Is there anybody that wants to speak for that? When you come up, if you'll give us your name and address.
Michael Fowler, 6650 Garrett Road in Buford. Appreciate very much your consideration of these various requests, and also very much appreciate the cooperation and professionalism of your staff in putting this together. Did a good job of presenting it. We're basically, as the gentleman said, drawing a line down the middle of the property. It requires two variances, one to 75-foot width to 72 feet, and the setback, a reduction of 5 feet. I think it's as fair, as separating the two as we can get, and I would open any questions you may have about it.
For it. Anybody else want to speak for it? Okay. Now we'll go, is there anybody who wants to speak against that? Okay, hearing none, we'll close that public hearing. Next is the public hearing, first reading for ordinance 753.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As we do for annexation cases, we also have a rezoning case behind it. So what we're going to do is discuss the annexation case first, and then I'll go into the details of the proposed rezoning case and the proposed development under the rezoning. So before addressing any subsequent matters such as zoning, the City Council must first determine whether the proposed annexation is acceptable. If a majority of the council members vote against annexations, any related rezoning application becomes moot. The annexation includes a total of 95.842 acres of undeveloped wooded land. And I'm just going to go to the location map. So this is to the south and east is Sasser Road. I think there's Turk Road that's adjacent to that at the intersection. And then they have a commercial piece that's in front of the subject parcel that fronts Falcons Parkway. So this is the parcel that's proposed to be annexed. Is there any questions about the annexation?
Anybody? Okay. I'll open it up. Is there anyone else who would like to speak for it? Again, if you'll give us your name and address, please.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm Bradley Dunkel, Rochester DCCM, 425 Oak Street, Gainesville 30501. Here tonight representing Telus Holdings and their request for this annexation. I'm not sure if we're covering both issues now or just the annexation. Okay, sure, okay. Yeah, the annexation, as Mr. McCrary mentioned, this property has been rezoned in Hall County. At that time, sewer was anticipated, that was in 2005, I believe. Sewer was anticipated to be provided by Hall County through Flowery Branch's, their capacity in Flowery Branch's sewer system. Obviously, a lot has happened since 2005 with sewer and service delivery areas, but either way, there's no ability to sewer this property through Hall County. It is in the Flowery Branch Service Delivery District, so therefore the annexation is required, I think, by the city to, in order to serve it with sewer. So that's kind of the basis for the need to annex. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Anybody else? Anybody else want to speak forward? Okay, thank you. Anybody want to speak against it? Come up if you'll give your name and address, please.
Mark Fall, 4567 Stanley Road,
Flowery Branch, Georgia. I own Mulberry Springs Winery. It's the largest vineyard in Hall County. I wanted to say that I'm also representing myself because I live there too. But I want to say that the area that's being annexed is a rural area. It's not for the city. I think it's pretty inconsistent with city life. All the properties on J.M. Turk Road don't fit a high-density subdivision where there's townhomes. There's nothing like it on J.M. Turk Road. In fact, the memo from Mr. McClary said it's inconsistent with the area. One of the things, too, what I found with all these developments, oftentimes they don't consider what other developments are ongoing. There is 254 home development off of Stanley Road and J.M. Turk Road, and if that actually does go through, it will add to the traffic. It's not just this piece only, it's the other pieces around it. Also, Union Grove. Yes, sir?
That's not in the city, I don't think, right? The 254?
Yeah, it's on J.M. Turk Road. It's about 2,000 feet, 2,500 feet from this proposed development. Correct, it's not in the city. But I'm just saying the traffic impacts, the people impacts are cumulative on that particular road. Also want to say that since I own the winery, I think we'll be tremendously impacted by this. The traffic there, the number one reason that people go to wineries isn't for wine, it's for scenery. University of Georgia study shows that 76% of the people that go to a winery is actually for scenery. They don't want to see high density traffic. That's why they're trying to escape and go to places like this. So the winery would be significantly impacted by sales and the loss of scenery. The signage itself is bad. And I also want to submit, is this an opportunity to submit information, paperwork, or is that a separate process?
We're just going to talk about it.
Okay, just speech only?
You'd have to give that to the city planner.
I'm sorry, I can't hear
You'd
it.
have to give it to the city planner.
Okay, but
Yeah.
can I do that today, or is that
Well,
weeks?
not during the meeting. We're
No,
holding a meeting
I
here.
mean like email or something. I don't know how you.
You can come in and see him. He works here.
Gotcha. Well, there's been an economic analysis done on Mulberry Springs Winery. We expect to lose $1.4 million over the next 10 years because of the developments in the area, primarily because of the impact of scenery. So I would ask that you all consider not just this property, but how it impacts businesses and employment around in the area. And that study's been done by UGA also. Thank you for your consideration.
Want to speak against it? Okay.
How many minutes do I have left?
I'm
You have
not sure.
you have
Dan
6
Ratchis,
minutes and 58 seconds
I
left.
can do that.
Okay.
This is impromptu. I wasn't planning to do this. I'm at 4360
Speak
JM.
into the microphone
I'm
there.
at 4360 JM Turk Road, Dan Ratchis. So we're right there. We have owned 23 acres and built a house 2 years ago at Sasser and JM Turk. So I don't know if this is for this issue or the second one. Look, I was an executive with Lennar Homes from 2004 through 2010, so went through the 2008 crisis. I don't think we can necessarily stop this. Here would be my concern, and I just thought of this. So if the developer clears 95 or 98 acres, clears out all those trees, and the market takes a big dive. It's not going to do what it did in 2008, but there's no question. I mean, we've been on a roll since 2012, so the market is going to correct. It just does. It's a matter of when. What would be a shame that I just thought of is if all that's cleared and the developer's like, I'm out, right? Because what they do is they'll take it into bankruptcy and they'll get out. We did that at Lennar Homes in 2008, a whole lot in California. So I would just say, I would encourage whoever, like, have some teeth in this contract, so that if the market, because this is, I think, I read all the information, a 5-year plan through like 2030. So when the market corrects, if it happens between starting clearing this land and finishing, have some sort of a teeth, have experts look at this contract so that it's not just easy for them to walk away, because that would be a shame, right? All these trees are cleared, like in 2008, right? People just walked away. So that would be my only concern of this. Thanks.
Come on up. If you give your name and address.
Sure. My name is Darlene Long, and I live at 4655 Quellwood Drive, Flowery Branch, Georgia. I live off of Martin Road, and you can see our property or the subdivision from in that map. And I have a question because I called Hall County regarding this, and at the work session on 7/21 and then a voting meeting on 7/24, they made an approval or an authorization to deny this annexation from Hall County. How do you guys, when this?
We're here for tonight.
Okay. Well,
yeah,
and
you come and
so,
see the city planner. He's sitting right over there. I was up there.
I'll come see
You come and see.
But
He
what
can
I'd like
answer
to
all those questions.
Okay. What I would like to point out is that they submitted, and I'm reading the I guess the memo. They submitted it to execute. Let's say I have to read it. Approximately 94 acres to not agree to annex the property into the city of Flowery Branch.
Right. Who did that?
Hall County. On the work session.
Okay. All right. Gotcha.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name is Kimberly Hussey, and I live on 4436 Sasser Road, which the annex is coming up at my back door. My main concern is traffic on that street. I don't think the street can handle all that traffic from all those housing. And also another concern that I have is our taxes, property taxes, how they would go up. I have about 13.5 acres on Sasser Road, and we pay enough as it is for those taxes. And those are my main concerns, and I don't feel very happy that this is coming at our back door. So, thank you.
Anyone else? Well, okay, then we'll close that one out.
We ready to move forward?
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry. So there is still 8 minutes and 32 seconds if anyone in favor, the applicant, would like to provide a rebuttal.
Thank you. I'll just touch on a couple of items quickly here. Market conditions, clearing of property, that's pretty much regulated by the city through the LDP process. There'll be a significant amount of open space retained on this property by virtue of numerous jurisdictional streams and the attenuate buffers that go with those, and some steep slopes that will not be cleared. So it won't be a 98-acre scar that'll be there in the future. Hall County, I believe, here recently has voted to, deny or not agree with pretty much all annexations. So I don't know how the city and other municipalities have been handling that, but it is a pretty common response from them, from what I understand now. Traffic, it hasn't come up yet. It'll be in the presentation, but part of the traffic, or we think a lot of the traffic, will go directly to Falcon Parkway. Although this property does not physically touch Falcon Parkway, there was an easement that was granted from the school board on the Martin Elementary property for a road to connect this property back to Falcon Parkway. So I would imagine that at least exiting traffic would take that route. I'm not sure, of the entering traffic if it might come through Sasser, but I don't think it's a situation where all the traffic is going to come out directly onto Sasser and J.M. Turk Road. Yeah, inconsistencies in the comp plan. We can talk about that a little bit later. I've got a part of my presentation on that, so I'll touch on that later if that's okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I guess there's anyone else who wants to speak for it? You probably still have a couple of minutes left, but anyone? Okay. Go ahead.
So this time we'll move to the proposed rezoning. So the site is in Hall County, is owned as a planned residential development. The applicant seeks to rezone single-family townhomes, SFTH, and it's already zoned PRD in Hall County. The applicant is proposing to develop 198 lots comprising of 123 single-family lots, 75 townhome units. The proposed single-family detached lots will be 50-foot wide and or 40-foot wide with lot areas of 6,700 square feet, while the townhomes will be 26-foot wide with lot areas of 2,000 square feet. The development's dimensional standards and building setbacks comply with the applicable code at the time of the application submittal. The zoning is not in the city, so I could only compare to what's surrounding the zoning. So we have institutional, which is an elementary school, and then we have some commercial uses along Falcons Parkway, and Makita is directly across Falcons Parkway, and that's zoned M1. So the future development map, again, is not contemplated in the comp plan, so what we do as planners is look at the surrounding land uses. So to the north, it really isn't applicable to a single-family subdivision. We've got institutional, we got industrial employment, and we got commercial. And so when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at the residential side of it. And it mostly fits, in my opinion, in the suburban residential, which is larger lots, single family. And since there is no townhomes in here, that's around the surrounding areas, then I looked at this as the suburban residential character area, which does not allow for attached townhomes, single family detached only. As Brad said, there was an easement that was approved in the past by the Board of Education that allowed one of the interests to come onto Falcons Parkway through an easement, access easement, sewer easement through Martin Elementary School. And the plans were kind of tough to read in detail, especially up at Falcon Parkway. So this is my best guess about where it's coming in. Brad could probably give a little bit more details, but 2 entrances are required. Fire code requires you to have 2 entrances once you get to this number of lots. And so they have to do it somewhere. So it's Sasser Road and J.M. Turk Road. And the other entrances, of course, is here at Falcon Parkway. Sasser Road is a Hall County road, so Hall County Traffic Engineering will review and approve that improvement. And then Falcon Parkway is a Georgia DOT road, so Georgia DOT engineers will review this and require the entrances to be to their standards. The applicant provided an access and sewer easement through Hall County Board of Education, I said. Now, I will say that we submitted notification to both Hall County Board of Commissioners about this annexation and rezoning, and to the Board of Education as the law requires. As of today, I have received no notification either from the Board of Commissioners or from the Board of Education. They have 45 days from the time that I notified them to send us a letter or send us the city manager a letter, and I have not received it as of yet. We have probably been 35 days since we sent it, so I think we've got another 10 days before the 45 days is up. So I fully expect hearing from the nice lady up here that we probably will get notification. That seems consistent with what Hall County has done in the past. So they've They haven't denied it, but they're opposing the annexation, will be their wording. This is the second entrance on Sasser Road. The only concern I had about this entrance is once you get to J.M. Turk Road and Sasser, that is a non-standard intersection. It's not lining up at 90 degrees. The amount of sight distance concerned is going to be looking to your right if you're turning left and then making a right on that road. Having half or even less than half of the subdivision coming through this would concern me. We don't have the ability to condition this intersection because it's not in the city. If it was in the city, I would have an engineer give us an assessment how we could straighten that road up to make it safer. I believe Hall County traffic engineers will do the same and apply their standards on this, but it's tough for us to do conditions, and that could be the basics of the opposition from Hall County. We'll see. So this is a street view of both. Like I said, it comes at an angle. Ideally, you want streets to intersect at 90 degrees and have sight distance to the left and to the right. So this is the concept plan. The townhomes are in blue. The single-family residential are in the orange. And those dotted lines that you see throughout the property are stream buffers. There's quite a few of them. And like Brad said, they will not be clearing the whole thing. They would have to go through a tremendous amount of Army Corps of Engineers permitting to get any kind of disturbance like that. So this plan is showing the development happening on the ridge lines and the single-family parcels at least moving off the ridge lines. The plan is conceptual. We realize that. But if you look at this closely, some of the lots are encroaching into those stream buffers. And I conditioned that to say the final plan would have to remain out of there. So these are conceptual plans of their elevations proposed. These have not gone to a formal review process by staff as Article 40 requires. So should we move forward with permitting this and approving it, then prior to issuance of building permits, that me and my staff would do a detailed review on all 4 elevations and make sure they meet every part of the Article 12 code, Article 10. But this gives you an idea of what the single-family homes would look like and the materials they would use. This is the attached townhomes at 26.5 with 5 units, 26 foot wide with 5 units. They're allowed to do 6 units, but they're proposing 5-unit buildings. And again, conceptually, this is the material. We would do a final review and make sure that they meet all requirements of Article 6, Article 10. These are typical lots. The one on the left is your single family with some, again, they remain 6,700 square feet, but some of them would be 50 foot wide, some would be 40 foot wide. So the 40s would have to be deeper to compensate for the 6,700 to equal that. So the 26 foot wide, 2,000 square foot townhome, typical townhome unit with 5 attached to that would be what is on the right-hand side. So staff recommends some conditions. If the annexation is approved and then the rezoning moves forward for approval, so the project shall consist of only detached single-family lots with dimensional standards for SFTH detached single-family dwellings defined in 6.2. Density measurements shall be calculated on a net basis in accordance with the definition of net density. That's Article 2, Section 22, design-related definitions. Maximum net density shall not exceed 6 units per acre. I don't think they would get 6 units per acre even with net density because there's so many stream buffers out here and so much open space, and they can only use 50% of that area of their density calculations. So I think you'll find we'll get below 6, and Brad can speak to that a little bit more. The final site plan is likely to change due to, like I said, a lot of the lots are encroaching to the state water. So just the final plan and review will be done by the community development director. And no lot shall encroach into the 25-foot undisturbed buffer, the 50-foot city Flowery Branch undisturbed buffer, or the 75-foot impervious setback. No grading, filling of earthwork shall occur within the 75 impervious setback from the state waters without prior approval by the director. And such activity shall be minimized, and that's in code section 27.6B, minimize grading activity in the 75-foot setback. Elevations will comply with Article 12. Anytime there's brick proposed, it needs to be authentic brick and natural stone. All building facades shall be per Article 40, Article 10, Article 12. once it's reviewed. They are to provide my department a detailed landscape plan sealed by a landscape architect, and a comprehensive site lighting plan shall be submitted to the Department of Community Development for review. The landscape plan shall include high-quality treatments for entrances, streets, open space, trailways, pathways, and amenities. The final lighting landscape plan shall be reviewed by the director. Entrance signs shall be approved by the director. Transportation, the developer will prepare and implement a transportation improvement plan to address impacts on Sasser and Fulton County, and then I would say Sasser at Turk Road as well. The entrance on Sasser shall be reviewed and approved by Hall County and Falcon Parkway by GDOT. And the approval of the rezoning and annexation application does not grant variances from local, state, or federal standards. Any such request must be submitted through the formal variance process of the appropriate jurisdiction. This application did not propose any variances. The site is likely to have lift stations on it due to topography. The engineer record must work closely with the Public Utility Department throughout the design process. All pump station designs shall comply with our development regulations. I'm not going to repeat all that, as well as any additional criteria established by the Director of Public Utilities. And then we have requirements for open space, and the open space shall meet Code Section 10.22. Detailed designs of all civic and amenity areas shall be provided, and then a detailed design of civic and amenity shall be approved by the Planning Director. Any questions on my presentation of the rezoning case, I'm sorry.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
So can you go back to the map with the contour lines on it? Yeah, that one. So those contour lines, they don't necessarily follow the stream buffers, right?
The low point's going to be the stream buffers, but on the side of the banks, it is very steep site. So going down to those, I have not walked this property, but I suspect I would need a four-wheeler to do so. At least it is very steep in some areas when you look at it. But again, you have to stay on the ridge lines in order to build, and more than likely retaining walls are going to be needed in quite a few places in order to stay out of that. Yep.
So the minimum stream buffer is what, 50 or 75 feet?
It's 50 foot, 25 foot to state, additional 50 that the city has adopted, and then another 25 of impervious setback that you can't put roads or patios or porches.
Is there any way you can guesstimate the percentage of this land that would be left forested?
I would need a CAD program to do that. I would say that probably Brad could provide that answer. I'm going to get that at some point because our density requirements are on a unit basis. So at some point, I'm going to need to know the square footage of all the stream buffers, because you have to take 50% of the stream buffers out of the density calculation. So and then whatever's left over is going to be either lots or streets, or forested area is going to be what's going to be preserved by the buffers.
So I don't see it on here, and I guess that comes farther down the road. Will there be walking trails in this neighborhood?
They have to provide amenities, and they have a choice of amenities, and that is walking trails as a part of it. They haven't provided me details of the amenities they will do, but that's why I've got as a condition that they have to provide details of the amenities and go through us and have all three of them that they have to do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The lines on here, are they 2 feet?
They are probably 2 foot contour intervals. I'll let Brad answer that, yeah.
Consistent. I just wonder how steep they are.
It gets significantly steep in some areas. It's not going to be an easy site to engineer. I wouldn't want to be the engineer of record on this one.
Okay.
Thank you.
For that,
Thank you again, Mayor and Council. Bradley Dunkel, Rochester, DCCM, 425 Oak Street, Gainesville. Got a short PowerPoint presentation for you here. Some of it's a duplicate of what Mr. McCrary just gave to you, so I'll try to go through those fairly quickly. But again, it is a 95 or 96 acre site, zone PRD in Hall County. We are requesting your new single-family townhome zoning district, which I believe was adopted in March of this year. I stole this slide from Mr. McCrary. I appreciate it. Site location, again, just for reference, between Falcon Parkway and Sasser Road. Adjacent zonings, you know, we talked a little bit about the comp plan, and because this was not in the city, that there wasn't a character area assigned to it. And I think Mr. McCrary mentioned that it may make sense for it to take on more of an industrial commercial use if you look at the properties to the north and to the west. However, if you look at the properties to the south and to the east, it would tend to be more residential. So for the seller, I believe the property would probably be more valuable as industrial or commercial, but as we were just discussing, the topographic and the environmental constraints, i.e. the stream buffers, just do not support you know, an industrial or commercial use. So you're almost not by default trying to create a residential use here, knowing that that residential use and at the density we propose probably serves as a transitional use between the institutional and commercial highway business uses on one side of the property to the larger lot residential. So that's always something we look at is, you know, how do you get, you know, how do you transition those uses so that, you know, both sides have something that's more compatible than that, than just going straight from one to the next without that. As we mentioned, the existing zoning in Hall County was approved in 2005 as a PRD. That's their plan unit or plan residential development for 138 single-family detached and 40 single-family attached townhomes. They were required amenity with pool, clubhouse, tennis courts. There was a commitment because of the few less lots for 40,000 gallons per day of sewer. And the sewer, as I mentioned earlier, was to be provided from Hall County's capacity in the Flowery Branch plant. And as we discussed too, you know, the need for this to be in the fact that this is in the Flowery Branch Delivery District necessitates the consideration for annexation. The proposed Flowery Branch zoning, as I mentioned, the single-family townhome district, 123 single-family detached, 75 single-family attached townhomes, 40 and 50 foot wide on the detached, 26 foot wide on the attached, all 2-car garages, amenity with pool, cabana, pickleball. As we mentioned, 2 entrances, Sasser Road and Falcon Parkway, and the sewer to be provided by Flowery Branch through an existing manhole, gravity manhole at the Martin Elementary School. The gross density is 2.07 units per acre. The net density, based on your definition of net density, is about 2.66 units per acre. I did just take a look at the area within the 50-foot buffers is actually about 21 acres. So I would expect the overall open space or undisturbed open space to be somewhere north of that number, maybe even as much as 30 acres that would be mostly or would be undisturbed. Value at build out, we've calculated at $88 million. And as I said, large areas of open space will remain, and we are not requesting any variances in this request. I think you've looked already at the concept plan and the elevations. So just to summarize quickly, We believe the proposal meets the intent of the city's new single-family townhome zoning district. Net density of 2.66 units per acre is less than half the allowable of 6 units per acre. The comprehensive plan that you're working off of currently was adopted prior to the adoption of the single-family townhome district, I'm pretty sure. And therefore, there's no specific implementation areas that are identified in this plan or in your comprehensive plan where the single-family townhome zoning district would be appropriate. So there's a little bit of chicken and egg there of, you've got a comprehensive plan that's a few years old, but you got a zoning district that's more current than that really doesn't fit anywhere other than I think in maybe the downtown district where you allow townhomes. And as I mentioned, annexation is required in order to provide sewer service to this property. And if you look back at the site plan here just quickly, I'll wrap up. The townhome use, which would be, deemed a more intense residential use than the single-family detached. The location of it is there on purpose. Again, that's the closest point to the institutional and the commercial uses. So again, furthering that concept of a transitional piece, even within this property, there'd be a transition from a little, more intense townhome density to the less intense single-family detached density. And I believe that's all I have. Be glad to answer any questions or reserve any remaining time for rebuttal or follow-up.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I think we have some time if there's anyone else for this. Okay. Anyone want to speak against that? Okay, state your name and address.
All right, Dan Ratchis, 4360 JM Turk Road. Of course, my wife was all in as soon as you said pickleball. If we're allowed to play there, she's in. I have walked this 95 acres. There's a lot of wildlife. So there's deer, red fox, turkey. My wife stumbled upon a wild boar, which is somewhat comical, but just there is a lot of wildlife. The other thing is the topography is crazy, and so I don't know how the land development is going to be super expensive. So I would encourage you again, I'm repeating myself, but have some teeth with the developer, because if the market corrects and it doesn't pencil anymore, they're going to walk from this, right? We've seen it before. We saw it in 2008. So I would just encourage you again, have some teeth in the contract so they can't do that, because that would be a shame. And it is, you're right, there's a lot of, it's not just clearing 95 acres, which is great. The gentleman from Rochester said, I believe half of them will come out through Falcon Parkway. I would encourage a study versus that comment, right? Let's do a traffic study to determine.
We always require that.
Awesome, perfect, that's great. And again, with the sewer pumps that are needed and the topography, it's just going to be really expensive. So just, again, make sure some teeth are in that contract so they can't just walk. But look, I'm not against growth and providing homes for people. I guess the other thing is I assume the demand is there. We need these homes. So I'd encourage you, let's make sure we need 100 or 198 homes, so that's it. Thanks.
I also want to speak against that. Sure you're talking to that microphone because the train's coming.
Hi, I'm Maureen Davis, 4432 Sasser Road. My big concern is the traffic on Sasser. Whatever traffic dumps into it, they showed you pictures of that road, but the steep hill that it's on, you're going down a hill like that and trying to make a turn to get onto JM Turk. It is extremely dangerous. You go into the other lane to make that kind of turn. A school bus can't make that kind of turn. The buses, I have had children that were dropped off by one bus, picked up by a different bus because of that angle. I really don't think dumping 200 additional homes on that road will be sustainable without making major changes to the road. Thanks.
Anyone else?
My name is Patrick Horn. I'm one of the residents of 4436 Sasser Road. We have 3 Hussey households on that property, as well as tenants in one of the households as well. They have been on that property for many, many years with nobody to disturb them, and I appreciate somebody bringing up the wildlife. We have a lot of wildlife in the area. Lots of coyotes. We have had a black bear sighting on our property, lots of foxes and lots of rabbits and deer as well. I'd hate for them to have their ecosystem disrupted. There are creeks in the area. We have multiple freshwater ponds. And speaking on the ponds, what if somebody gets a little adventurous, ventures off of that plot of land onto our land and drowns in our pond? Who's going to protect our household from that? Would you expect us to fork over the thousands of dollars to put up a fence? As well as, I mean, not to mention the topography. I have also hiked that area. It is quite a hike, and it is not very forgiving. There's a lot of water that rushes down the hills, and it is always very wet. I don't think it's a very good area to build on. Traffic as well. I would like to expand on what she said about the traffic. We have had one semi who, heading north on J.M. Turk, tried to make a turnaround onto Sasser Road and had gotten himself stuck on the corner. We also very recently had a pretty major accident that shut down that corner for a while that prevented me and my girlfriend from being able to come home. That turn, it is steep, it is sharp, as well as that right-hand turn heading north on J.M. Turk is a blind corner, and people do like to speed through J.M. Turk. It's very windy and it's very fun. If the city decides to expand on the road, wouldn't that just invite more truckers as well? And I would also like to add, wouldn't anybody else like to agree with me? We've had enough industrial development in the area with all the warehouses and the storage units. There's enough people on the road as is. I don't think the road infrastructure can handle any more trucks or any more cars than there already are. Thank you.
How are we doing on time?
We have 4 minutes, 57 seconds left.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll close the public hearing.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
We have 3 minutes, 9 seconds left. If there would like... Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Regarding traffic, obviously that's always a concern with any new development. I think we'd be certainly fine with a condition for working with Hall County Traffic Engineering Department to, satisfy what they feel needs to happen at that intersection. So certainly not opposed to that. And no, we know that's part of what would be required anyway. As far as, leaving the property or, going bankrupt, I don't know how any of us can actually guarantee that, but this development team's been in business for a good many of years and have seen some cycles in the real estate market and world, and they know how to position themselves for those type of occurrences. So wildlife, again, I think the amount of land that will be retained totally undisturbed will be supportive of maintaining some habitat for that wildlife. So that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else want to speak for it? There's a couple minutes left. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Public hearing and ordinance 751.
Mayor and Council, we've brought quite a few text amendments, finding things that need to be updated, working with city attorney to look at things that have issues. So this probably won't be the last. But public hearing for ordinance 751 has to do with adding the farm winery tasting rooms into the table, and then also place dimensional standards in the CBD. And this is the first presentation that we've brought to you on this case, this text amendment. The text amendment to table 9.1 adds the farm winery to the existing use chart on Article 9, non-residential zoning districts, and the use will be permitted by right in CBD, Central Business District. And I'll say that if we did have a farm winery tasting room that required construction, then they still have to come in front of you. It's not a use by right completely if they're going to build something to house that. And then a conditional use in highway business. And then later tonight, we'll also address the farm winery testing rooms in the alcohol ordinance. But this puts us into the zoning ordinance for the same use. Also, we wanted to take a look in the same article, not table 9.2, and look at dimensional standards in the CBD. And I'll show you the reason why in a minute. This is where we would place farm winery tasting rooms in table 9.1. So conditional use is HP and use is allowed in CBD. Table 9.2, if you read it as it was now, they have none in a bunch of locations on the chart for CBD. When I look at none for setbacks, none for density, none for just about every requirement that's on there, that's okay for a PUD or something that's a planned unit that they'll bring a plan to you, but when you have none, it's open for any interpretation. So that stood out to me quite soon after I started, and so we worked with city attorney and we decided to put some dimensional standards on this. And so in this case, when I put note number 2 instead of none, it'll reference, going down the list, it'll reference that townhomes and multifamily dwellings have dimensional standards that are consistent with the dimensional standards of table 6.2 for both single-family attached townhomes and multifamily dwellings, including condominiums. So fee simple ownership for the townhomes, whether they're attached or detached. And then if they're condos or if they're multifamily, there'll be dimensional standards, same later on in the ordinance in 6.2. So by referencing 6.2, note number 2 provides dimensional standards. And if you have any questions about this text amendment, I'd be glad to discuss it.
It's just a paper thing. Anyway.
Yeah.
We'll go through this. Is there anyone that'd like to speak for this? Hearing none. Is there anybody that would like to speak against it? Okay, so we will close that. And we'll go to the public hearing and first reading of ordinance 756.
Mayor and Council, I'm going to, at the beginning, I'm going to combine two things, and then we've got to look at things separately. So we've got a veterinary who owns a lot side by side, and she actually owns the existing veterinary clinic on Hog Mountain Road. And I'll go through some of that and what they're proposing to do. But I do want to kind of show both in conjunction what we will be talking to tonight. So the existing building is where the veterinary clinic is going, or is now, and the proposed building is what the applicant wants to build to house a new veterinary clinic. The existing building will be turned into a pet boarding operation, but there's no changes to the building of the site. They're just going to change the use inside the building. But she is going to build a brand-new building. And so I want to go over the rezonings have to be, each of these have to be rezoned to something different because in M1, neither use is allowed. And let's go to the 5250 Hog Mountain Road, currently operates as a veterinary clinic. The owner plans to construct a new veterinary clinic at 5238 Hog Mountain Road and convert the existing building into a pet boarding facility. The site is zoned M1, where kennel is prohibited. However, the HB highway business allows a kennel or pet boarding by right per table 9.1. So, and to allow the proposed change in use, the site must be rezoned M1 to HB. And that's 5250 is the subject of this particular ordinance. So the site is located in the little sliver of land between Hog Mountain Road and 985. North, you'll get to Spout Springs, south is Friendship. And so there's about 7 lots, I think, in that area, and they're all zoned M1. And they're an acre or less, and I'll go into my analysis. I just don't think there's going to be an industrial use on less than an acre. Once we get into the new comprehensive plan, this area is probably going to be recommended to be changed, probably to HB or office professional. It's the existing lot. Again, it's a subject site is on M1. There's the parcel number, and the size of the property is quite small. So the future land use map shows this as being, again, M1, but the lots aren't big enough to support the use. You won't get an industrial building or a warehouse or anything like that in these areas. So it makes more sense to look at them as being professional offices would be good, OP, for small businesses like proposed here, or even highway business to allow some retail uses in here. So this is the existing clinic, the existing entrance. They're not proposing any changes to Hog Mountain Road. They have decel lanes, and they have already built there, and they actually have an acceleration lane on Hog Mountain. So the driveway operates well. So staff recommends approval of rezoning at 5250 from M1, parcel 08116000017 from M1 to HB. And the existing building is to be repurposed for a pet boarding facility. The building footprint, parking, detention are to remain as it exists. No proposed improvements to the site. Future improvements to the site or the building will require exterior will require proper permitting, LDPs or building permits otherwise. Any questions on the repurposing and rezoning of 5250 Hog Mountain Road? Okay.
There's like 5 or 6 in a row there that are all one zoning, and so it's only this particular property that's being rezoned.
This particular property, yes, and you'll see in the next presentation, the next one over. I think there's some, I can't read it from here, but there's a different zoning up top. I fully plan on re-looking at this area whenever we go into the new comp plan starting in October. Like I said, I think this is set up for more of highway business or office professional. It doesn't. These lots won't have the ability. There's wooded lots except for a few that are out there, but I just don't see these being developed as an industrial use. Any other questions?
Anybody? Okay. If anyone else would like to speak for this,
Good evening. Danny Blumenthal with Gaskins LaCroix, 1266 Powder Springs Road in Marietta, Georgia. We've got a presentation as well that I submitted, but I'm here regarding a rezoning request for 5250 Hog Mountain. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was there. Awesome. Thank you. Sorry about that. So we're here again, as Mr. McCrary talked about briefly, rezoning request for 5250 Hog Mountain Road. Dodson Vet Enterprises is requesting to rezone the subject property from M1 to HB for a pet boarding facility. As he explained, there is currently an animal hospital on the property, and the request is to just repurpose the existing building, existing parking lot for pet boarding. So the property is situated between 985 and Hog Mountain Road. It's pretty narrow and not appropriate, not a great spot for an industrial site, and it's marked with the yellow star right there. So here's the zoning and the character area maps. It's currently zoned M1, and the character area is industrial employment. There is another rezoning request that Mr. McCrary also briefly talked about, which is located just north of this property that I've also outlined in yellow there. And here's the survey of the subject property. As I mentioned, existing animal hospital facility will be used, so no changes to the site are part of this rezoning request. The image on the left shows both of those properties that are part of this request, and then the next one, but on the right, I've just zoomed in for a better view of this property that we're talking about now. And here is an image of what the property looks like from Hog Mountain Road. And again, there'll be no changes to that building, the parking lot, or the access from Hog Mountain. Awesome. And that concludes my presentation. Happy to answer any questions if you have them. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak for it? Hearing none, is there anyone who would like to speak against it? Okay.
All right, conveniently, ordinance 756 is the proposed rezoning of 5238 Hog Mountain Road, which is next door. So this will be a brand new facility, and there'll be the new veterinary clinic with the building, the parking lot, detention, and then it's going to be served by septic, which will have to be approved by the health department. In this particular case, I'll back up a little bit. The way the zoning code reads, kennels and pet boarding is different than office professional. And so office professional is a use by right and for veterinary clinics, but not necessarily for kennels. So that's why there's a difference in the HB and the OP, but I think HB and OP go well together. And so with this particular case, we're going to be rezoning the proposed site improvements under to HB. I'm sorry, to OP, to office professional. And again, this is the site just north of it. The site that's in the gray above that is PCD commercial, which is a Hall County zoning. And so they're planned commercial development commercial in Hall County. And again, I think it's better for us to look at this as either office professional or highway business. So the orange is Hall County zoning. So this is the land use map. So the proposed use is going to be interparcally accessed through the existing driveway. So no work is going to be done on the roadway, and so everything that is going to operate as is. The decel lane that's existing and the acel lane, so entrance and traffic off of Hog Mountain Road should work well. They provided elevations of the building. So batten board, we got brick water tables, we got architectural shingles. And again, these plans will have to go through our architectural review process under Article 40, Article 10. Side elevation, similar materials, very quality building. Again, water tables, overhangs, architectural shingles. So we got the rear. And then they provided some color renderings of the building itself. So the staff recommended conditions is the approve at 5238 Hog Mountain Road, tax parcel 081160000016 from M1 to OP, Office Professional, with conditions that the final design shall be substantially similar to the site plan provided with the rezoning application, and the building footprint, parking, and detention are to be substantially similar to the site plan provided. Exterior elevations shall be similar to the elevations and materials provided, and where brick veneer is shown, only authentic brick or stone shall be utilized. All building and facades shall be reviewed through the Article 40, which is Article 10 and 12 as well. Signage, landscaping, lighting, and overall signage program. A detailed landscape plan sealed by Georgia Registered Landscape Architect and a comprehensive site lighting plan shall be submitted to the Community Development for review and approval, and the landscape plan shall include calculations for the required open space. And unless otherwise stated, approval of this rezoning does not grant any variances of local, state, or federal standards. Any such request must be submitted through the formal variance process to the appropriate jurisdiction. Any questions on this rezoning case?
So, can you go back to the rendering again?
Yes, sir.
There. So the way this building is turned, the side faces Hog Mountain Road and the front faces the parking lot, right?
But yes, it's going to be, the side of the building is going to be parallel to Hog Mountain Road. The topography, I believe, drops off from the front to the back, so I'm not sure what the elevation difference from the street looking at this side of the building is going to be.
I'm okay with that. So the front looks nice, and I'm curious if we could do that same stone veneer, more of that on the side that faces Hog Mountain as opposed to the side that faces their parking lot.
We could consider it if we want to add an additional, to add more or another percentage of something like that, but we could also ask the presenter as well, if that's something we could consider. The water table can extend up, or we could change materials. I think if we're using brick on the front, I think we should probably do the same on the back, and maybe extend the water table up a certain distance, and that could be a condition of approval.
Thank you.
Yep.
Other questions? Okay. All right. Is there anyone else that would like to speak for this? Go right ahead. Again, your name and address.
Yes, sir. Good evening again. Danny Blumenthal with Gaskins LaCroix, 1266 Powder Springs Road in Marietta, Georgia. And now, awesome. Now I'm here regarding this rezoning request for 5238 Hog Mountain Road. Dodson Vet Enterprises, LLC, the applicant, is seeking to rezone the subject property from N1 to OP for a veterinary clinic. The existing animal hospital is located next door, as we've been talking about, so that building would be repurposed for the boarding facility, and then this would be a new building for to move the veterinary clinic. The property, similar to the previous one, is located between 985 and Hog Mountain Road. It's currently zoned M1, and it's within the industrial employment character area. And here again is the proposed site plan. You can see that it'll be connected to the existing animal hospital building. It's a just over 3,700 square foot building, And we also did request an administrative variance just to add 3 parking spaces above what's allowed by code. But beyond that, all code requirements would be met, including, going through the architectural review process. And again, here are the renderings of the building. And thank you. That's the end of this presentation. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer. And also, we have the architect here if you have any questions specific to that. Thank you.
I have another question.
Yes, sir.
So that same side that faces Hog Mountain Road, I saw on one of the previous slides that the landscaping would be 25%. So what kind of landscaping will be between this building and Hog Mountain Road?
25 feet.
Yeah, 25 feet. Is that what it says? Minimum landscape area, 25%.
That's of the total site area, but we've got the engineer here actually as well that may be able to, sorry to put you on the spot. Should better be able to respond to that. But if there are any requirements as far as landscaping, all of that would be met and we'd go through any necessary review process. Are you happy, Karen?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Megan Simmons with Gaskins LaCroix at 3474 Corporate Parkway, Duluth, Georgia, and I'm the engineer of record for your plans. We haven't dove too far into landscaping, but like Danny said, 25% of the open area is required to be landscaped by code, and our plan is to follow what the City of Flowery Branch's landscape ordinance is. So whatever trees, shrub counts, what's in your approved species list is what we will be providing for these areas. Are there any concerns or questions regarding that? Any other questions for Danny, myself, or the architect?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else for this?
Good evening. I'm Kathy Bodner. I'm at 1511 Hillsong Court, Decula, Georgia, and I work with Blue Frog. I'm the design project manager for this project. And I know you had a question about the Hog Mountain Road side. There's an elevation change of about 10 feet, so that's why the building has been reoriented to the parking lot. It just makes more sense to have access directly from the parking lot for the clientele that would be using the building. And that's why a lot of attention's been paid to the parking lot side. We can look at some accents that would, kind of help dress up the side of the building as well on the Hog Mountain side. But considering that the height difference and what will actually be seen from the road is pretty limited.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Any other people want to speak for it?
I just wanted to answer one question. There's a required 10-foot landscape strip along the Hog Mountain Road that will have to be provided with trees and shrubs. Okay.
Anyone want to speak against it? Okay, then we'll close that one. And next we go to public hearing and first reading for ordinance 757.
Mayor and Council, this is going to be also an annexation where I'll present just the annexation location and then we'll move on to the rezoning case. And so this will be a familiar site to most people here at 5623 Hog Mountain Road, which is the annexation site of Hall County AR1 Agricultural Residential to City of Flowery Branch M2 Manufacturing Residential for the construction of a retention facility. This is the Vulcan facility, and they need a retention facility in this area. That's what the annexation of the lot is going to be used for. It's not going to be used for operations or excavating. It is just for the part of the retention system, not all of it, but a piece of it. So a little drainage ditch and a part of a detention. So this is the location. It's at the corner of Blackjack Road and Hog Mountain. I think Friendship would be just shortly to the south. And then all parcels in blue there are part of the Vulcan plant. So this is the annexation area, and any questions? I had the acreage on here, I apologize.
What are they going to do with it again? That's they've got the big berm. It's way behind it.
That's it, and I'll let the applicant explain a little bit more. This is a system of two detentions with a spillway between, so they're trying to contain, retain water, proposing a construction of a retention facility, including addition to stormwater management system. The provided site plan is kind of difficult to read. A clear plan including locations and improvements and details regarding the continuation of berms and fencing, et cetera, will be required. So in previous annexations, there were requirements for berming and for landscaping. And in this case, when you add this one, they're showing a 50-foot buffer adjacent to the next. But some of that contour is the low point of a detention pond, not the berm. So that in the green and the red is the detention system.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
So I have a question. So I was looking over the information that was sent as part of our packet, and I've already asked you some of these questions, Chris, but sure. One of the items was Community Advisory Council. The property owner agrees to hold periodic Community Advisory Council meeting. Who is the advisory committee?
There's a report that comes to us. Now, unfortunately, I haven't been, since I've been here, I haven't been involved, but I did find some in our files, and I'll let the applicant answer that. It looks like in 2022 was the last time they met. I think they've got to do it in 3-year periods. Maybe it's 2023, so next year they're going to have another one. My understanding through reading through the documents is it was people in the area were being reported to of what they were doing and I haven't been involved in it. I've only read some documents, but it looks like another one is due next year. And then I will be glad to be more involved in that. Now that have met with the attorney, I met with the applicant's representation. And so I've got contacts and I can be part of this more and more as we go forward.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
So I do have another couple of questions though.
Okay.
Anybody else? So, the accumulation of byproducts, spoils, shall not exceed 35 feet above the original contour. So how do we know that it doesn't exceed that 35 foot above the original contour?
Well, this will go into the rezoning case in that, but the only way that we would be able to know that is if I got an as-built survey of the existing berm itself, so I could know how high it is. And I can't recall if I put that in an answer to a question that somebody had. If not, we can certainly put that as a condition that they do when we get to the rezoning case, I did say that we need to revisit some of the berms that looks like it may have been disturbed and repair them and then continue the pathway into this parcel. So if we want to say that an as-built needs to be submitted to confirm the 35-foot accumulation height maximum, we can certainly add that, and they can provide that, and I can make a review of that.
The rezoning.
Yes, sir. So this particular case, 1.3 acres of annexation, and then we'll move to the rezoning case, and I'll do more detailed review of that for you guys.
Is there anyone who wants to speak for that?
Good evening, council members. I'm Lolita Jackson with Vulcan Materials, and I'm not going to take up a lot of time. I'm going to turn it over to Wes Robinson, but I did want to answer your question. Our facility there on Friendship Road, we have been there. We've been in Flowery Branch for many years. I'm almost 20 now, and I understand each time we purchase new property, we come back and to this council and ask for you to annex, and we enjoy having our facility in the city of Flowery Branch. But to answer your question, the Community Advisory Council, we meet with them a few times a year, and mostly it's neighbors around the plant there, the quarry there, that will participate in some of those meetings. We send out notices, the plants, we mail out notices, we email notices for those participants to come in, hear an update on the plant, ask any questions they may have. And we had our last meeting in April, I believe, was that meeting in April, and of this year. And so sometimes we have one neighbor participate, and I think that last meeting we may have had 3 participate. And so I'll make sure that now I have Chris's information, that he gets the minutes and everything from those meetings.
Okay, so I live next door to the quarry, and I haven't seen any emails or any notices about who this committee is or how you get selected for. How do you go about that?
We were given those names when, you want to answer that a little bit? How the neighbors got on the committee? I don't. The names are after, yeah, they were when we send out blast notices to the neighbors, and from there, it's my understanding we invite the neighbors who want to participate based on those blast notices. When the query, and like I said, we've been here many years, so it's my understanding that that council was established almost 20 years ago, and so some members have come and gone at that time. But we'll tighten that up a little bit and make sure that you get the notices and get invited to participate in those meetings.
But it's not going to be another one for another 3 years then, right?
No. We have them each quarter.
Each quarter, okay.
Yeah, so we'll have one coming up soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Speak for him. Anyone else? Okay, who want to speak against it? Okay, Chris?
Okay, let's move to the rezoning side of it. So 1.33 from AR to M1, as we see here. And I'll go back to I think the condition of zoning said at least once every 3 years, but and then report back to us. But if they're doing it more, then that's great. Then it sounds like Lolita will give me the minutes of those, and certainly sounds like she's willing to invite you guys as well if you wouldn't want to come. So I wasn't aware that they were meeting more than every quarter, so I apologize for that. So again, this is pretty much what I've already stated, that this area is going to be part of a bigger detention system, and they need this parcel probably because it's at a low point, and but we will require an LDP on this. And so my statement here is it's kind of hard to read this map because it's not a fully developed engineering plan, but once it gets here, we'll do a plan for the hydrology, for the erosion control certainly, and then any impacts we have to Hog Mountain Road. This is the plan. The applicant shall provide a detailed berm, landscaping pathway, and fencing plan to continue the screening on the newly annexed parcel. Any disturbance shall be noted and prepared. The adjacent is an example of what was previously provided. So they provided elevations and sections and plans to show how they were going to kind of screen Hog Mountain Road. And in the conditions of approval, I've requested we continue that down with detailed plans like this in the LDP set. So the staff recommends approval of annexation 5623 Hog Mountain Road, parcel 15048 00045 and rezoning from Hall County AR to Flowery Branch M2. Sorry if I said M1 earlier. This is M2 because it's a quarry. The subject site shall be used for the diversion, swell, and detention facilities only. A 50-foot enhanced buffer planted with a diverse evergreen trees and shrubs shall be planted next to 5615 Hog Mountain Road. The final landscape plan requires approval by the Director of Planning and Community Development. The applicant shall maintain all existing berms and buffers as areas as previously required. Modifications of any berms or buffers shall require prior approval from the zoning administrator. The applicant shall provide a detailed berm, landscaping, and pathway decorative fence plan to continue the screening to the newly annexed parcel. Any disturbances of the existing berm, trails, or fences shall be repaired. And then, of course, we could probably add a fourth condition about an as-built survey to determine the height of the berms no more than 35 foot to be reviewed by the zoning administrator. Any questions for me on the rezoning case?
Got one, Chris, and
All right.
then maybe for you or for the applicant. So, I think this is the third time they've come before us with annexation since I've been on the council, and work around the pass and the burns, the fences, and the plant, everything all looks great. I will say this: there are some areas of existing burns that have some serious erosion issues that probably need to be addressed. I'm assuming part of it is going to be collected in this thing they're building here, but it's, you can see it. I mean, driving down Hog Mountain Road.
I did.
It's not hard to see it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that addressed as well.
I did. Any disturbance of the existing berms, any disturbance, whether it's done by nature or by people, any disturbance of the existing berm, trails, or fencing shall be repaired. And that'll be something I'll review. I've driven it. I know where you're talking about, and so I'll look for that at the LDP to at least be pointed out and addressed. Yep.
Does anyone else want to speak for it?
Thank you very much. My name is Wes Robinson. I'm here on behalf of the applicant. As you know, Vulcan has been a long-term presence and a member of the community of Flowery Branch. And I want to be clear that we're not here about expanding the operations of the quarry whatsoever. Vulcan has acquired a small tract. You can see there's the entire site there with the small tract in red is the only piece that we're here about today is the little bitty piece in red. They have acquired that tract, which is a 1.33 acre tract adjacent to the quarry, and they're asking today for you to annex that one little piece and rezone that little piece M2, which would be consistent with the rest of the quarry. And what they want to do is incorporate that into the operations of the entire facility for use as a retention pond, essentially, is what it's going to be used for. And that's to ensure water quality in the future from the operations of the quarry. And so you can see the little piece that we're talking about in relation to the size of the entire quarry, and all of the rest of the quarry is already annexed into the city of Flowery Branch. This is our piece. You can see the solid blue there is what will be a detention or retention facility. Then that will drain to the little lighter gray in a ditch, essentially, to a second detention facility before it's released from the site. We have depicted the 50-foot buffer that was mentioned as one of the conditions. We absolutely agree with the condition of the 50-foot planted buffer, and we have shown that along Hog Mountain and then along the adjoining property that is owned by a private landowner. We've also depicted the fence there on that site. So those would depict both the site, our intended use, and the conditions that were proposed by the staff. Again, that's the entire site, and the little bitty corner up there where you see some purple on the left-hand side is where we're talking about in relation to the entire quarry. This is the survey of the site as it exists. Those houses would be removed when it's turned into the retention facility. Happy to answer any questions. We do have folks here from Vulcan that can answer any kind of technical questions that you may have. I do want to ensure you that that council does meet, and we'll get you on that council, Mr. McClellan, for whenever you would like to attend. The staff has recommended approval. We would hope that you would be in favor of that. There were some questions earlier about the long list of conditions, and I do want to be clear that those are conditions that were imposed on the quarry operations. We're not here asking to amend or change any of those. Those would still apply. Those are applicable to the ongoing operations of the quarry, and we're not asking you to change or amend any of those. We're just asking to annex this one little bitty piece for use in a stormwater retention facility to ensure stormwater quality or water quality in the future on this site. So happy to answer any questions, and again, we do have the plant operations manager and other folks that can answer technical questions from Vulcan too. If you have any specific questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Real quick on the dimensions. When you have that acreage, you aren't going to go, you don't own all the way to the corner?
We do not own all the way to the corner.
Right, so there's something between you and the corner there. You're kind of making a little, you're roping somebody in. Have we heard from that person?
I believe it's actually a church. Is that right? It's on the corner. I think it's a.
It's a house that I think they use as a church.
I think that's correct. I think that is correct.
Right. Okay, that will remain as is right there.
That's correct.
And they haven't said anything?
They've been there for years, of course, and we're
Probably
acquiring these people's property, or we have acquired this property recently. Yes. Happy to answer any other questions.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Does anyone else want to speak for it? Okay, then we'll go. Is there anybody here who wants to speak against this? Hearing none, we'll close it. We go to unfinished business, the work session, discussion on the wastewater treatment plant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tonight we have Mr. Addison Sheely here, as well as Pavel Mayfield. They are with Archer Western, and they are going to give a progress update on the wastewater treatment plant expansion.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Addison Sheely, Assistant Project Manager for Archer Western. Pleased to be here with you all tonight to share the construction progress update number 3 for the Flowery Branch Water Reclamation Facility 2.2 MGD expansion project. So throughout this project, similar to the last update completed in March, we'll touch on safety and quality. I'll give you some high-level overview of the project status, share with you some points on the construction schedule, share some progress photos, and finally close with the project financials. So for safety and quality, we've worked approximately 75,000 man-hours to date of the total 165,000 man-hours estimated for this project, which also includes subcontractors. Most of these hours to date have been self-performed concrete work and underground utility work, with the exception of our electrical subcontractor that's been on site since day one. Happy to share with you guys that through this time, we've maintained 0 safety or quality incidences. This is a testament to the fact that we are creating but also maintaining a safe work environment while also providing the City of Flowery Branch with the highest quality product possible. So for a project status update, we shared with you all in March that the early works package, which included the installation of mixing equipment, an EQ tank, as well as a belt filter press, has been successfully completed and turned over to the City of Flowery Branch and is in their hands for operations at the moment. We've also procured all project permits to date, and site work is ongoing and expect to continue throughout the duration of this project with backfill and asphalt installation. You're Yard piping has also made great strides in the last few months, with 80% complete, with the remaining being mostly small diameter water pipes and chemical lines at minimum buried depths. Site electrical subcontractor also is making great headway. Most of that been in the last few months. This includes major connections to structural buildings. Concrete's also been steady, with over 2,300 cubic yards poured to date. Also, this includes the completion of the biggest structure by far, which is the bio basin, which will be the highlight of these photos that I'm going to share with you here in a few slides. The last two mechanical slabs that remain are on the larger side and anticipated to be poured in August and September this year. This should open up increased mechanical work to close out the project the following year. So this slide here kind of just reinforces what I just went over. We received notice to proceed in August of last year, so that puts us at the halfway point for this 2-year project. Work has been steady on site, as I mentioned, with civil and structural work, with mechanical work to follow in the next year. So we're slated to finish in August of next year, but this is a deadline that my team is set as a goal to beat. So for some construction schedule statistics, like we mentioned, the early works package was completed in March. We were able to complete that a few days ahead of schedule. As far as the main construction phase, we're currently tracking 11 days ahead of schedule. This is driven mostly by the procurement of long lead time electrical equipment. Happy to share with you all tonight that one of those electrical gears, such as the switch gear, set to deliver next month, which is 3 to 4 months ahead of schedule. Huge milestone for us. With the other critical electrical gears, such as VFDs and a transformer, set to deliver in the next few months. We've noted a couple important equipment deliveries here at the bottom. Just like to point out that's approximately $3 to $4 million worth of process equipment just in a few months, with more to continue into the new year. At this point, I'd like to share with you some progress photos. This is just a general overview, with the picture on the left here being a rendering of what the final product would look like. So you can see the photo on the right was taken a few days ago. Kind of gives you a general overview of how the site is taking shape. With vertical construction already ongoing, we anticipate rapid progress over the next few months. This here gives you a contrast to the picture we shared with you in March from our previous update. As you can see, the bio basin on the left is starting to take shape, with the other structures to follow. In the next few photos, we'll kind of highlight these structures individually, give you a more in-depth review. So here's the bio basin that I mentioned previously. This is the larger structure by far. These pictures do not do the structure justice. These are 20 to 30 foot concrete walls. So over the last few months, we've been able to complete this structure, highlighting the splitter box here and the addition of the membrane tanks on your far upper side there. Partial backfill also, and electrical subcontractors making good headway around the building, stubbing up their electrical duct banks and process to receive the mechanical equipment mentioned. Here is the front of the bio basin, front of the membrane tanks that I mentioned. It doesn't look like a whole lot in this photo on the right here, but our teams are working steadily to install underground process piping and drain lines, and as well as our electrical subcontractor. The building on the left here is a pre-engineered metal canopy that will actually sit on this concrete structure. This canopy should go up in a week or two after the slab is poured. So, like I said, the vertical construction will start taking shape here in the next few months. Here, I'd like to highlight the headworks facility and EQI pump station. These two structures work hand in hand together to send screened wastewater to our filtration system. The two large gray squares you see here are non-structural, what we call a mud mat. This just gives our carpenter crews and rod busters clean, flat working surface to install concrete structures there. These structures have progressed quickly over the last few days, with the headworks facility being completely formed. Rebar was just installed yesterday. The EQI pump station is the smaller square you see on the right. That was actually poured yesterday and is in the curing process. Over the next few weeks, like I said, we'll take receipt of mechanical equipment here and start installing flanged pipe. These two structures are important for us. As part of work restrictions, these need to be brought online around January of next year to further the progress for the rest of the plant. I'd like to share this picture with you here. The circular object you see there is the basis of their wastewater treatment facilities currently. So we're truly working on every inch of this project. So just take a second here to give Peter and his team thanks for continuing to work with us while they try to keep their wastewater facilities up and running. So lastly, I'd like to close with some project financials here. Like I mentioned a few times, the early works package was completed in March. We were able to complete that under budget, approximately $140,000 under budget. Most of these savings came from contingencies. We were able to roll that $140,000 savings into your contingencies for the main construction portion of that. As far as your owner contingency for that main construction phase, $600,000 left, approximately $1 million. For the CMAR contingency, approximately $1.6 million left. The savings from the CMAR contingency are split 50-50 from the contractor and also the city of Flowery Branch. So we'd like to be able to pass on some of that savings to you guys. Overall, the project's in good financial standing. The only point of concern for us moving forward would be cost-related increases due to tariffs and the ever-changing market that we live in today. Questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was good.
Good job.
Yes. All right, next, consider the second reading of ordinance 752.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'll just briefly address this one. We discussed this during the first read, and what the ordinance before you does is define, using the terms from the state code, what a farm winery tasting room is. It borrows the rules from state law for their operation. It also updates the section on brew pubs to allow what the state definition allows, which would include selling up to 5,000 barrels of the brew that they make on site to wholesalers, and so we've added that language here. During the first read, one of you astutely asked, what are the hours of operation? And I think at that time I thought maybe we could handle it in the zoning ordinance, but then when I reviewed it, I thought it probably fit better in the alcoholic beverage code. And so to clarify, I've suggested some language if you choose to amend this ordinance to include that the hours of operation for any of the new categories of business models we've adopted in the last couple of months. So it would include these farm winery tasting rooms, brew pubs, microbreweries and microdistilleries, that they would have the same hours of operation as a restaurant that sells for consumption on the premises. Those are fairly generous here in Flowery Branch, Monday through Saturday. That's between 7 a.m. and 2 a.m. the following night. And then on Sunday between 11 a.m. and midnight. So just making it clear that everybody's playing under the same set of hourly rules if you choose to adopt that amendment to it.
And when we get to the voting session.
Any questions?
Under new business work session, consider resolution 25-010.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. This resolution is regarding our safety survey and inspection program. Safety is a top priority here in the city of Flowery Branch. We have a new safety coordinator that volunteered to take on this position as well as his full-time position. It's our building inspector, Paul Jennison. So just a few points that are in the resolution that is before you tonight. Safer workplaces enjoy increased productivity, higher employee satisfaction, a better reputation, and improved quality of life. This resolution came from our carrier, LGRMS, which stands for Local Government Risk Management Services, and other cities and counties have adopted this as part of the best practices for their safety programs. So the overall goal of our programs is to have zero workplace injuries, accidents, or incidents. Do you have any questions? Thank you.
Next, we consider a contract for bid.
Thank you, sir. At the last meeting, we terminated a contract with the person who was awarded the bid for dewatered sludge and waste removal. And we asked to proceed with a contract for waste eliminator, which is now the most responsible bidder. And you have the contract before you, and that is what this is requesting. Here are the bid tabulations for all of the bidders on the project. Here is the waste eliminator in green with their services. And also, we'll gain access to the GWAR landfill in Gainesville, which is even lower than the prices shown on the previous page. Are there any questions about that?
Landfill, it wasn't maybe a year or so ago, I think they were having to deliver it miles and miles away.
Yes, sir. We deliver to Ball Ground and Buford. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is consideration to award contract 25-012 to Evergreen Solutions.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is to consider the contract award for our job classification and compensation plan study. Say that 10 times fast. The purpose of a classification and compensation study is to gather data to analyze our positions and salaries. It reviews the minimum qualifications, responsibilities, skills required, and salary. It helps ensure that we have internal equity, competitiveness in the market, and not only just compensation, but the entire package, including benefits. Studies are typically completed every 5 years. Our last one was in 2018. We released the RFP on April 2nd, and bids were to be received by May 28th. We did receive 9 bids. The price ranged from $24,000 to $72,100. Time to complete ranged from 3 to 6 months. And the top 3 were interviewed after the committee rated all of them, and it was Evergreen Solutions, Gallagher Benefit Services, and McGrath Human Resources Group. After the interviews, Evergreen Solutions came in the top of the ratings. Their cost is $32,500, and the timeline will be 4 months. A little bit about Evergreen. They've been in business since 2004. They've conducted more than 1,500 similar studies, and over 80 of them have been within Georgia. They are not a one-size-fits-all. They make sure their solutions are customized to meet our unique needs. They have also developed a compensation and classification maintenance tool that they will train us how to use before they turn everything over to us. It will assist us in implementing, managing the solution, and updating for our future needs. Just a few of their clients in Georgia: City of Atlanta, Commerce, Dahlonega, Dublin, Kennesaw, Milton, Sandy Springs, Thomasville, Tybee Island, Woodstock, and if you saw their proposal, there's a lot more Georgia city and counties that they've had clients with. So it is our recommendation to award the contract for 25-012 Job Classification and Compensation Plan Study to Evergreen Solutions, LLC. Any questions?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Department. City Manager.
No report, sir.
City Clerk.
That we are actually handing out packets now for qualifying for the election that's coming up on November the 4th. You don't have to pick a packet up early if you don't want to, but they are available Monday through Friday, all through next week, or tomorrow as well. And then qualifying will begin Monday, August the 18th. It will go through Wednesday, August the 20th. That is for seats 3, seats 4, seat 5, and the mayor's seat. Any more information, you can either give me a call or it's on our website. Hours of qualifying will be 8:30 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. all 3 days. And then again, voting is on November the 4th. And that will be from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. And that will be held not here at City Hall. It will be at your regular assigned Hall County polling place. Early voting is also your assigned polling place. Thank you.
Department of Fun.
Good evening, everyone. So this evening, I have put together just a few slides. I'm going to be really quick about a few of the things that has happened over our last fiscal year. Because we are at the Department of Fun, making a place where fun always blooms. Oh, hold on. Oh, there. So, of course, we had a ton of great events this past year. We had a few fun guests that showed up with us, some silly elves, and Lilo and Stitch were there, bringing some really cool sunglasses that I think everybody enjoyed. Cupid showed up at Valentine's Day, and everybody got to send a Valentine card to their loved ones, so it was a great time. I did want to point out, I did have just a few numbers. Our visitation for downtown over the last year was up about 8%. So we had over 165,000 visitors to our downtown area this past year. And over 42,000 showed up at our farmers market on Thursdays, which I think is pretty cool. So, but one thing that we really did this year is we were partnered with a lot of different community events and community partners. One thing that we did in December is Sheila, thanks to our city clerk, partners with Meals on Wheels. And so as a community, we collected blankets for their seniors. We also, the Salvation Army brought an angel tree out to our Christmas tree lighting, and so we were able to grab little angels off the Christmas tree and go and buy gifts and make wishes come true. South Hall Rotary, if you've been on Main Street, you've seen the little library that's downtown. That thing gets some business, let me tell you. There are always people standing there grabbing books, putting books in, looking through books. I've seen them in the alley reading, so it's been really cool to watch that little library get a little action. And then, of course, we have our flag retirement boxes. Eagle Scout Hugh Gaines built those boxes for us, and they're full. And so we're going to have a retirement ceremony with our Veterans Day program in November. And so that'll be really cool too. And the box on Main Street, so it was inside for a while, and I was like, it needs to be outside. So we moved it right outside my door, and I'm telling you, it's full. So the Boy Scouts were supposed to come and get them. I need to check on that. But we also, since January, sorry, I'm not used to this thing. We've started, we did several ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings, which was really exciting. I think we've had like 5 new businesses that we did ribbon cuttings for since January. Already this new fiscal year, we've gotten 2 done, and probably about 3 more that I know that are right around the corner. So it's really cool to see us, partner with these businesses. Fun story, we were at McAvoy's last week, And he was so busy that Friday just in the kitchen cooking, he was exhausted. So it's just very fun to see our community coming together and supporting our local businesses. This little slide, we're trending for our rentals is pretty cool, but this number, so now that I have Emily, she is a stats girl, and she keeps up with all of our stats and all these numbers. And so our community room has been rented 45 times, the depot 164. So we have 2 clubs that meet there on a weekly basis. There's a networking group that's there on Thursdays, and then of course the Rotary Club is on Wednesdays. So it's constantly being used throughout the week. Well, and of course the pavilion, we've had a couple of weddings, 5 to be exact. Over 10,000 people have been a part of, whether it was a party or a business meeting over the last year, and between the community room and the depot and the pavilion. When you sign when you fill out your little form to rent the facility, you put how many people, and of course Emily talks to them. So I thought that was a really cool stat that we hadn't seen before. So, and then this is what's coming next. This fall and Christmas time is busy fun. So we do have a newsletter that we've started maybe in February that goes out every month. If you're not signed up for it, scan the QR code and get signed up for it, because it keeps you up to date on all the things. I will point out just a few of I'm excited about all of them really, but there's a few. The farmers market, we're really trying to, especially in this winter and fall, trying to, have some fun so people will come down a little more often. So, don't want to miss the date. August the 21st is our superhero market. And we truly believe that everybody in the city of Flowery Branch and all around are superheroes. And so you can come by the market, grab a superhero cape, meet some of our superheroes with our public works and police department. We've got a fire truck coming and an ambulance, and so we'll have a little touch of truck going on. And if any of you would like to come down and join, I know people would love to meet you guys as well. I added an event and took an event away. So August the 29th, Fly Betty will be back in town for a fun concert. We'll have our food trucks and all that kind of fun stuff. But I'll just go real quick. You can see October, we have a fall cleanup day. Our Gilmore Girls event is crazy. I don't know if you've been down here on a Thursday on the Gilmore Girl Day. It's insane. Well, we've decided that we're expanding it for 3 days. So we'll have the market on Thursday. We're going to do a black and white movie on Friday. If you've seen the show, that's kind of what they do. And then on Saturday is the Boo Run. But then after the Boo Run, we've met this lady who does kids entrepreneurs markets. So we're going to have a market that is just all kid ran. So all the booths, all the products are all kids. And so all the music we're going to have are going to be kids singing. So put that on your calendar, and it should be a good time. The tree lighting, yes, I know it's almost Christmas, will be November the 21st. And that one we're going to have our lantern parade, the tree lighting, and then a concert. If you were here in June, we know we got rained out. And so the Nashville Yacht Club Band is coming back, and they're going to do a concert/Christmas show. So it'll be a lot of fun. And then one last thing is New Year's Eve is December the 31st. We are going to have a noon Year's Eve flower drop. So we'll celebrate New Year's Eve a little bit early so the kids can come and enjoy downtown and get home before all the crazy happens. So that's about all I have for y'all today. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to help. If you want to get involved, I'm happy to put you to work. So any questions for me? No? Okay, good.
Finance.
Good evening. I think maybe you should put me before her so I can bring you down and she can bring you back up. So tonight I'd like to kind of give you an update on the Tax Digest saga. As you know, with the passage of House Bill 581 and House Bill 92, there's been a lot of challenges this year with getting the digest, and we've been meeting with the county bi-weekly since then, since the adoption of those ordinances and at the state level. I guess a couple of weeks ago, we gave you an update on what we thought was some final numbers for the digest. Excuse me. And relayed that information to you in terms of a rollback rate or maintaining the millage rate at the same level. At our last meeting last week, we were informed that some of the numbers that they had given to us may not be accurate, and as that relates to the mill, it's just one specific area, and I don't want to get too much into the weeds of that, but that could affect our rollback rate. So at the end of last week, I gave you some updated numbers in terms of how that could affect us long-term over the next 6 years if we were to leave the millage rate the same or do a full rollback. So kind of like a worst-case scenario, but we just wanted to make sure you had up-to-date data. We're giving that to you as fast as we get it, so you can make that decision on whether to roll back the millage rate or maintain it at the same level. So we just want to give you that update. Do you have any questions for me in terms of the digest, the numbers that you've seen thus far?
I've got one quick one. I don't know if, and you may not be able to answer this, but I was just perusing through some tax notes online today. They've changed the whole format, and of course, there's nothing on there hardly.
Yeah, that's as a result of the regulations related to House Bill 581 and 92. If you remember, I don't know if it's been a month now or longer, where we adopted the estimated rollback rate, and we chose to adopt it at the current millage rate. And so by doing that, it allowed them to kind of put out that assessed value. And so that's because of that change, because of House Bill 581. So yes, it does look different. It doesn't, we don't have special tax digest. I did look at one today that didn't include those, so I don't know how that's going to look on the final bill, but we do not have those special tax digests.
So we're still just spitballing, right? What the digest will be and how that will impact us?
Yeah, based on the discussion at the county, I've made two phone calls into the Department of Revenue with no return phone call yet to get some clarification. The county has done the same. Their indication, what they indicated at that meeting is that the state may choose to make corrections to that next year. So what we presented the first time would be accurate for this year, but there's still some uncertainty of whether that will be how it's handled this year or not. Under the current timeline from the county, we should have our final digest on August 20th. So that is kind of the last day to get an ad into the paper for certain dates if we choose to leave the millage rate the same. So we'll see what that is on August 20th. But I'm assuming that it'll stay the same. But I just wanted to give you kind of a worst case scenario. If those exemption numbers come off the digest, that will affect our rollback rate and affect the dollar value.
And we'll know that by August 20th?
Hopefully.
Okay.
I mean, worst case scenario, we leave it the same. We have to do the tax increase hearings. We may have to have a special called meeting, but other than that, we roll back. We won't have to go through that.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Any other
So we're going to have it before the next, what, a day before the meeting, hopefully? Or what?
August 20th is when we're supposed to get the final tax digest from the county.
7th, it'll be the 21st, so that's the day before the meeting.
Yeah, so I should have it then, and I can give you an update at our next meeting in September.
All right.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you, Matt. HR. Okay, planning. Police department. Okay. Public utilities.
Good evening. I wanted to thank Addison for that report. It's been very hard to work down there sometimes, mainly because there's no parking, just like there is up here when Renee has a event or something like that. So no major incidents, but I also had some good news myself. We finally were able to get rid of those very expensive rental blowers this week, so they're gone. And that's really because of the investment that y'all approved with the EQ tank improvements on the early works package, and I'll go into deeper detail on that in my department update later on. So thank y'all.
Public Works. Okay. Attorney's report.
Yes, Mayor and Council, just want to quickly report that the city of Flowery Branch, along with 85 other cities, was part of an amicus brief submitted on Monday to the Georgia Supreme Court, seeking to overturn the Chang versus the City of Milton decision, per your instructions. And in previous meetings, the hope, of course, of the amicus parties is that the court will return the state of Georgia law back to the way it was before this decision, so that some sanity, the restoration of sovereign immunity, and the ability of cities to engage in roadway beautification. So we await the court's decision.
Okay. Joe?
Well, nothing to report.
Okay. And we will adjourn the work session, go to the voting section and call to order. And we have public comments, and I think these people might have already spoken, but Melanie Garish? Melanie? Okay. Miss, I think it's Grumman? Darlene Runner? Give your name and address for the...
Sure. Thank you. Darlene Runner, 6232 Shoreview Circle, Flowery Branch, Georgia. And I live in Tidewater subdivision. And I wanted to just voice my concern. You had ordinance 746 on your agenda. And this is my concern overall for the project in concern of traffic. There was a lot of discussion at your last meeting regarding the development project, and my concern is all of the traffic flow that is going to come from that new subdivision onto Mitchell. My home is, my backyard faces Mitchell. I know how much traffic there is, large trucks that are delivering to the restaurant, Fishtails, and maybe the marina. There's also boats, trailers. There is also foot traffic. I'm very concerned about that with people that are trying to enjoy our environments, going to the marina, just, walking, and also to the park. And it's adults, it's children, it's babies in carriages and things. And as you are aware, the road on Mitchell is not very wide. When there's traffic coming around the park, you have to maneuver very carefully with boats coming and us exiting. So Tidewater has, I believe, 174 homes. And if you try to, in retrospect, say just an average of 2 cars per home, and now there's going to be adding 74 homes in that new development, from what I understand. The concern is that all the traffic is going to come onto Mitchell, and there's no other way for Tidewater to come out except for onto Mitchell. So I would hope that the city is really going to consider a serious traffic investigation and look at that for the safety of everyone, and also
Excuse
for
me.
the...
That's time, Mr. Mayor.
Is that it? Okay. Thank you.
Give me another few seconds. Go ahead and finish up.
Okay. Also for the traffic flow that is going to be going up and meeting the roundabout. There's already traffic that is on Lights Ferry and Mitchell, and I understand I'm not usually in that traffic flow in the morning, but I understand that there's a large backup. So it's not just Mitchell, it's, you know, it's all of the concerned streets too. Thank you.
Wait just a minute. Slow up a little bit. Now, what'd you say?
I said I was on that list that you wrote. You probably spelled my name. I was about to say the same thing.
What's your name?
Marat Gumerover.
Okay, well, come on up. You have...
Yeah, Marat
2
Gumerov,
minutes.
6583 above Tide Place. I live in the same Watercove community, and I just concur with what was said. And I was part of that traffic jam around the circle. What happened, that the cars just backed up out of the crossroad all the way to the circle, past the circle, because we got a lot of traffic, not just from our community, but also from McKeever Road. There's a big development over there, townhomes and everything. They come into the highway through us, through that circle, and the circle all backed up. You can get into the circle. It's literally everything starts still. You can't go around. You can go in, can go out, everything's stuck. So that has to be considered. And the road that leads to the new development alongside the marina is not only 174 homes of our community, it's 350 cars, plus 300 marina slips, it's 300 cars, plus restaurant, it's another couple hundred cars over the weekend. Plus we have a public ramp, that's another, I don't know how many cars. It's just impossible. It's a narrow road full of pass holes. Has to be done something. My proposition is that there is a street, Gainesville Street, going alongside the community. It's a one-way street. Maybe considering making it a two-way street, widening. It's not that long. It's maybe a few hundred feet. Something has to be done because I think that the new development of 100 cars that you're going to add to it is probably going to be last straw that breaks the camel's back. So we need to do something. I think the development has to go along with some form of alleviation of the traffic. It will create that last step that's going to get us stuck. Just, if we don't want to do that. Our whole city is so beautiful, so laid back, and we all like that. We don't want to become Atlanta, you know, everybody crazy, a road rush and everything. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Let me mention again, Melanie Garish, G-A-R-R-I-S-H. Okay. Okay, we're finished with that. We're now with the consent agenda, and I think we have a motion.
I'd like to request that the beer and wine license for Clipper Petroleum be removed from the consent agenda to allow for discussion.
Okay, we're going to do that. We don't need to vote on that, but we're going to do that. And so we're going to approve the consent agenda without the that in there. Then we'll
Motion to approve the consent agenda. Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And now we'll go. We will move this to the voting sections. That's got to be voted on, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You can do that right now.
Okay. We'll consider the Third Amendment to the Flowery Branch Main Street. And you want to explain that?
Yes, sir. Or you could consider the Clipper Petroleum right now as well, before this item.
Okay. Well, that's just part of the consent agenda, isn't it?
We took it off.
Right. So the
took
consent
it off.
agenda is approved.
Yeah.
So now the item that was removed, the beer and wine license for Clipper Petroleum,
It was removed?
it was removed from the consent agenda. So now we can discuss that item.
Okay. So, which one are we going to discuss first?
Okay, perfect.
Good afternoon. We have received an application from Clipper Petroleum, which is a new gas station convenience store located off H.F. Reed. Myself and the owner is present for this council meeting. Myself and the chief have reviewed the application. We recommend your approval. Do you have any questions for myself or the applicant?
Nope. Thank you.
I make a motion to approve the beer and wine license for Clipper Petroleum.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. And you have a beautiful building there, and looks great. So, yeah, very quickly now. We're
Yeah, I just want to thank y'all for allowing us to be a part of the community, and thanks for all the support you've given us. Your staff, Tanya, Chris, Danny, and Kelsey were great to work with, and Patty Hurt and the police department helped us through the license process. You have an outstanding team here. I know you're proud of them, and it's a great thing for us to have located here and dealt with the people in this community. Especially Tanya. I've asked her so many questions, she and Chris. Without their help, it wouldn't have turned out as well as it did. But thank you. Appreciate it. Sorry to take.
Thank you, sir. All right. We can consider yeah. Is it okay if we do that next one now? Are we, the Third Amendment?
Yes, now you're on unfinished business. The Third Amendment was a part of the consent agenda, so it's approved.
No? No, we haven't voted on that yet. Huh? No, the Third Amendment, for that, we took it out of the, yeah. Okay. All right, second reading, and this is voting sections, session. Second reading of ordinance 746.
Ordinance 746 is an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances, including the zoning ordinance of the city of Flowery Branch, Georgia. Ordinance 746 to strike in its entirety Section 12.6 and Article 12, and to add Section 12.6 and Article 12, as shown on Exhibit A, providing for severability, repealing conflicting ordinances, and for all other lawful purposes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 746, a text amendment to Article 12, Section 12.6.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, passes. Next, consider the second reading of ordinance 752.
I have a question to the attorney. Is this on the latest update to this ordinance or the original?
Please read the caption from the ordinance as it was introduced, and then council may or may not choose to amend that ordinance.
Okay, ordinance 752 is an ordinance amending the city code of the city of Flowery Branch, Georgia to modify provisions related to licensing of brew pub establishments, to provide definitions, to provide reasonable regulations related to farm winery tasting rooms, to provide for severability, to repeal conflicting ordinances, to provide for an effective date, and for all other lawful purposes.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to add an amendment to that ordinance.
Okay.
I move to amend ordinance 752 to add a section 3 to read as follows. The hours of operation for any establishment licensed pursuant to Division 5 brew pubs, Division 6 microbreweries, Division 7 microdistilleries, and Division 8 farm winery tasting rooms shall be the same as those permitted for licenses for retail consumption on the premises under Division 2 of this article, and to renumber the remaining sections of the ordinance accordingly.
That gets some uniformity to the hours, so. Okay. Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 752 as amended.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Now we're in the new business. Where do we need to stick that one? The thing we've left off up there.
So the third amendment was not the item that was removed? The Clipper Petroleum was the item that was removed?
No, we took it out of the consent agenda.
Right, Clipper Petroleum only.
Oh, we didn't take, oh, well, okay. I got you.
Yes, sir. I thought that
Okay.
might be what you
Under
were
new business,
thinking.
I was taking the other one out.
Yes,
so,
sir.
Yeah.
So now we're back on track with the
Okay.
new business.
New business, voting section, consider resolution 25-010.
And this resolution just says it's a resolution of the city of Flowery Branch, Georgia, adopting the safety survey and inspection program.
Motion there, please.
I move to approve resolution number 25-010.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next is the public, or the first reading of ordinance 750.
Ordinance 750 is 5572 and 5578 Mulberry Street variance. It's an ordinance granting a variance from the requirements set forth in the City of Flowery Branch zoning ordinance, Article 6, Table 6.2, dimensional requirements for agricultural and conventional zoning districts, minimum lot width and minimum side setbacks, interior lot line, all principal buildings for 5572 and 5578 Mulberry Street, owned by Carl N. Clark Estate Properties LLC, as shown on Exhibit A and as described on Exhibit B and as conditioned on Exhibit C, providing for severability, repealing conflicting ordinances, providing for an effective date, and for all other lawful purposes.
Okay, motion there, please.
I make a motion to approve ordinance 750 regarding the variance for 5572 and 5578 Mulberry Street.
Okay, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Next is the first reading of ordinance 753.
Ordinance 753 is an ordinance to annex and bring within the corporate limits of the City of Flowery Branch, State of Georgia, real property totaling 95.842 plus or minus acres of land owned by S.P. McKibben Sr., LLP, identified as 0 Sasser Road, Hall County, tax parcel 15044000040, and is shown on attached to Exhibit A, as described on attached Exhibit B, providing for severability, repealing conflicting ordinances, providing for an effective date, and for all other lawful purposes.
Okay, that motion? A motion to approve it, a motion to not approve it? You want to make a motion there?
I move to deny consideration of ordinance 753.
Okay, now we have a motion to deny ordinance 753, which, if it's denied, would eliminate the need for the vote on the rezoning. Any other? Is there a second on that? Did somebody second it?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor of denying the first reading of ordinance 753?
Aye.
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 4 ayes, okay. Then it is denied. And we do not have to vote on the next one there, is that right? We don't,
It would probably make sense to go through the formality of denying it, actually.
okay. All right, somebody will make that motion, Joe? Go ahead.
Caption need to be read. Okay, I'll read the caption for ordinance 754. Is an ordinance amending the zoning map of the city of Flowery Branch, Georgia by rezoning real property totaling 95.842 plus or minus acres of land owned by S.P. McKibben Sr., identified as 0 Sasser Road, and as shown on attached Exhibit A, as described on attached Exhibit B, and as conditioned on attached Exhibit C, providing for severability, repealing conflicting ordinances, providing for an effective date, and for all other lawful purposes.
I'll make a motion to deny ordinance 754 rezoning of 0 Sasser Road.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All those in favor of denying it, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it was denied. Next is the first reading of ordinance 751.
751 is an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance of the city of Flowery Branch, Georgia, to provide for a identification or for definition of farm winery tasting rooms in section 2.1 of Article 2, to amend table 9.1 by adding a farm winery tasting room use, to strike in its entirety table 9.2 within Article 9, to be replaced with table 9.2 as shown on attached Exhibit A, and to reference the applicable dimensional standards for certain uses, providing for severability, repealing conflicting ordinances, and for all other lawful purposes.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance 751 to add farm winery tasting rooms to the use table and place dimensional standards in CBD zoning.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pass. Last page. Public hearing or the first reading of ordinance 755.
Ordinance 755 is an ordinance amending the zoning map of the city of Flowery Branch, Georgia by rezoning real property totaling 1 acre of land owned by Dodson Vet Enterprises, LLC, identified as 5250 Hog Mountain Road, Hall County, and as shown on attached Exhibit A, as described on attached Exhibit B, and as conditioned on attached Exhibit C, to be rezoned from Flowery Branch Manufacturing and Industrial Light M1 to City of Flowery Branch Highway Business HB, providing for severability, repealing conflicting ordinances, providing for an effective date, and for all other lawful purposes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 755 to rezone 5250 Hog Mountain Road.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it passes. And next is the first reading of ordinance 756.
Ordinance 756 is an ordinance amending the zoning map of the city of Flowery Branch, Georgia by rezoning real property totaling 1 acre of land owned by Dodson Vet Enterprises, LLC, identified as 5238 Hog Mountain Road, Hall County, and as shown on attached Exhibit A, and as described on attached Exhibit B, and as conditioned on attached Exhibit C, to be rezoned from Flowery Branch Manufacturing Industrial Lot M1 to City of Flowery Branch Office Professional OP, providing for severability, repealing conflicting ordinances, ordinances, providing for an effective date and for all other lawful purposes.
Okay, we need a motion then.
I'll make a motion to approve the rezoning request for 5250 Hog Mountain Road. Wait, my apologies. 5238 Hog Mountain Road.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it passes. And next is the first reading of ordinance 757.
Ordinance 757 is an ordinance to annex and bring within the corporate limits of the city of Flowery Branch, state of Georgia, real property totaling 1.18 plus or minus acres of land owned by Vulcan Lands Incorporated, identified as 5623 Hog Mountain Road, and as shown on attached Exhibit A and as described on attached Exhibit B, providing for severability, repealing conflicting ordinances, providing for an effective date, and for all other lawful purposes.
Okay, somebody want to make that motion?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 750.
757.
757, sorry, got lost. 757 for the annexation of 5623 Hog Mountain Road.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And next is the first reading of ordinance 758.
Ordinance 758 is an ordinance amending the zoning map of the city of Flowery Branch, Georgia by rezoning real property totaling 1.1 plus or minus acres of land owned by Vulcan Lands Incorporated, identified as 5623 Hog Mountain Road and as shown on attached Exhibit A, as described on attached Exhibit B, to be rezoned from unincorporated Hall County Agricultural Residential AR1 to City of Flowery Branch Manufacturing and Industrial Heavy M2, as shown on attached Exhibit A and as described on attached Exhibit B, providing for severability, repealing conflicting ordinances, providing for an effective date, and for all other lawful purposes.
Okay. Make that motion.
I move to approve ordinance 758 for rezoning of 5623 Hog Mountain Road.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And next we consider awarding a contract for bid 25-008.
Make a motion to award the contract for bid 25008, dewatering sludge and waste removal to Waste Eliminator LLC.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And last but not least, the consideration to award number 25-012. It's a job classification and compensation study to Evergreen Solutions.
I make a motion to award contract 25012 job classification and compensation plan study to Evergreen Solutions LLC.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes. Is there a need for a executive session tonight? Okay, then what, who's the motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.